All right, traders. We are literally 2 minutes away from the non-farm payroll. Excuse me, Paul Franco, you there?
Yeah, Blake, I am.
Cool. Okay, so obviously we always look at the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. That gives us a really good indication how the market's reacting to the number, good or bad number. Okay. So stand by.
The poll is for 200 and also 0.20 in average hourly earnings.
Okay, and then obviously we have unemployment rate at 5%
Yeah, I don't think that's going to make any difference. I think just those are going to be the key numbers, the headline number and the average hourly earnings. If we can stay in line, it's pretty good. If they can tick up and have another 0.3, it's done deal. Good night, Irene.
Yeah.
It's over.
All right. Well, the dollar's seeing a little weakness ahead of the number, so here we go, guys. We're how far away are we?
We're 20 seconds. Hang on to your hats, boys and girls.
Okay. Here's a 1-minute chart, and whoa.
Euro popping up.
Wow. The number out?
Nope. 5 seconds, and here we go. 211.
Wow,
and average earnings right in line, 0.20.
Great number. Look at the dollar yen just spiking up. Euro just came right back down. What a juke. That just juked everybody. Oh my God. Wow. 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 Did you see the euro spike up to it spiked up to 109.50 just ahead of the number? What a show. I'm not even gonna say it. Yeah, the euro spiked right up, took out some stops. Look at that 1-minute chart. Took out some stops and right back down. Very messy non-farm payroll right at the moment. Very, very messy. Nothing really to write home about right now, Paul. I mean, it's a good number. How about Canadian numbers? What those come out at? Must be a little weak.
Canadian exports down 42.98 billion, down 1.8% from September. October trade balance 2.76 billion. September 2.32 billion, revised from 1.73, so a little bit better on the revision.
Yeah, but no, what? How about their here? I'm going in their employment data right now. So their unemployment rate went up. They actually lost more jobs than expected.
They lost 36,000 jobs. Sheesh. Unemployment rate 7.10, so ticked up. What a crap show.
So it ends up, and it's right now. Frankly, there's not a whole lot happening. I mean, yeah, the euro spiked up to 109 and change. It spiked back down to 108, 60, 50 or so in the euro, right down to the 60. I'm not doing anything.
You know what's interesting is anybody that sold it like at 108, 108 and a half, they're still underwater. And a good number would have saved them, and they would have covered.
Yeah,
they're still underwater, so it could allow for the euro to try and press up a little bit higher or maintain, and maybe they'll try and push them a little bit higher on the euro. I just don't see anything onto the upside for the euro. So if they can squeeze them back up,
Aussie new lows, by the way.
Yeah, if they can squeeze the euro up a little bit higher, I think that it's probably a pretty decent short, because I just don't see anybody now looking to go in and buy the euro. So, and then if they can squeeze them up towards the highs, like maybe around the 930-ish area, then I think maybe you might be able to get some people to cover that, and then from there we can start heading south. Not a whole lot, but we could come back in.
Well, you know what? Some trades you might be looking at. Look at like the Euro Aussie and the Euro New Zealand. These actually might not be bad. If you want to stay away from like the dollar per se, you might look at some of these, because the stock market spiked up a little bit, futures spiked up a little bit. Now they're coming back down, and so what's happening is you're seeing an underperformance again. Once again, the underperformance of the commodity currencies. So maybe the pound, the pound Aussie, pound New Zealand longs, Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand longs. Those cross rates might actually not be bad plays. Especially if futures come down. Now futures are just kind of bouncing around. Let me go look at the E-mini futures here. But guys, I'm not doing anything in the currency market currently. Nothing. But like you look at the futures here, they spiked up, they came off. those highs. If the futures start coming down, that's a 1-minute chart, so I should maybe look at a 5-minute chart, give you a better viewpoint. If we are just holding these lows, now remember this is a big support too at this 2050, but if we give up this support, oh, the euro's coming under pressure now. We give up that support, you know, like I said, the Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand, those might not be bad trades. Okay, Euro's under a little bit of pressure. Aussie's hitting new lows. Kiwi's hitting new lows. Futures are bouncing again, but the Aussie and Kiwi are hitting new lows. Euro's just sitting there. Swissy's holding up, which I like. KL said, am I reading it wrong, Blake? Gold is up 8 on a good jobs report. No, gold is flat. Gold was maybe up 8, but it's not up 8 anymore. It's down. Actually, gold's flat and probably about ready to go negative. It just went negative. Swissy new highs. Woot woot. I'll take it. Let's see. What else is happening? God, the Aussie and the Kiwi are really coming down. See, like the Nordic currencies, we're pushing. We're still really far from resistance there. Peso is still strong. I mean, we're right at highs in the peso. That doesn't surprise me. Swissy new highs. Huh. What to do, Paul? What to do? What to do?
Like I said, I think it's best just to not do anything and let it play itself. Let it play itself out. That's what I think, and I just don't think there's any other than hopefully that the euro would have rallied back up towards 9.25, 9.30. I think that was
Right.
which it didn't since we've had the number back.
I'm gonna sell my my Swissy here. It's made some decent money back, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off the table here. And I don't mind actually reestablishing that position a little lower. So I just exited.
How much did the Swissy gain from where it was pre-NFP?
About 40 pips or so.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were approaching that 1.0040. So I'm now I still have Swiss shorts. Okay, I'm still long some pound Swiss. I'm still short some Swiss yen. But as far as the dollar goes, I don't mind taking profits here. What I'll do is I'm going to look to reload the dollar Swiss probably back down at 99 cents if we can get it, or something like that. Euro dollar is not too far off of lows. I mean, we're only 10 pips away from lows right now. This Aussie and Kiwi, they're still pretty heavy. Let's.
If you look at it on a half-hour chart, the euro, it looks pretty ugly right now.
Let's go. Here's the euro dollar here.
On 30-minute, half-hour chart, 30-minute, it looks pretty ugly. But they allow it to just keep 30-minute, allow it to just go on and head south.
Yeah, I don't.
30-minute chart, it looks pretty ugly so far.
Yeah, it does. Let me take a look at the hourly. I mean, that's it. Gravestone doji the way it looks right now. But we have some time to develop that candle.
Well, only 23 more minutes. So if it finishes down here, it's going to allow it to. It's going to set up for a move back down to 819.
Right.
819 was that key area. Remember when we were shortening it on the way back up, we were looking for 819, and it backed down to 782, and then once it got back up above 819, it said we're going to 869. So 819 is going to be the key area, and we didn't have a blowout number. So the 108, like you said, is 38%, but I would look for this. If it finishes like this at the top of the hour, which would be the 30-minute and as well as the hourly on the candle, then I'd be looking for a move down to 819, or the market will allow it to set itself up. And I just think that the euro was just way overdone over here. I just do. But you couldn't get in the way of people on the way up yesterday. But I just don't see the momentum to take us a whole lot higher, and the Fed's still going to be raising in December. I mean, Ivan the K just tweeted out. He goes, "Hope y'all enjoyed ZERP. Thanks for playing." That's it. There's no more ZERP. They're raising in December in a couple of weeks. And like I
Yeah.
said yesterday, on the way up, I said, hey, and don't forget, memo to you, the Eurozone still sucks. So I just don't see how it's going to be able to establish another leg up from here. And that was my whole thinking yesterday is I can see it going higher. I just don't, when it was up at the 970s, I was like, I just don't see the momentum or the juice to take us another leg
You're
higher.
just a cockroach, Paul. Admit it.
I was actually dissing the euro. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I actually could have done
Okay.
well if I bought the euro. I just couldn't pull myself to pull the trigger on a buy for any euros. But I just don't see the momentum for a leg up. I don't think it's going to totally fall apart, but I think it's going to be under pressure.
Yeah. Barry said satisfaction is ZERP ending successfully after every butthole and their brother predicted either hyperinflation or permanent ZERP.
Yeah.
That's high. Yeah, and that's the the thing is Barry. Barry he manages a fund out of Florida, and he's been a longtime listener here on the Morning Edge, and I watched Barry um, and his partners really develop as some pretty great traders over the last few years. It's been wonderful to watch Barry develop over the last, what I would say, about 5 years,
And
and
Rylan,
yeah,
he's
and
liquid
Rylan.
too.
Yeah, and he knows that listening here for the last several years, I've been the I've been so adamant about no, this hyperinflation garbage has just been there's so many people wrong, and they'll never admit it. They'll never admit it. I mean, it is what it is. But
Yeah, that's what
um,
I'm saying. Is I don't mind when people offer the other argument, but no one ever wants to say they're wrong, like that idiot old hay bag Santelli, or not to mention Peter
oh,
Schiff.
wait.
He's never wrong. He's never wrong.
Of course he isn't. I know a lot of people like that. And that's kind of like being in the markets. You end up knowing a lot of people like that. Okay, so anyway, I got out of the Swissy. I'm going to try to pick it up maybe sometime next week, closer to 99 cents if I can get it. I do want to be a buyer on pullbacks now. I do want to be a buyer of the dollar on pullbacks. I just don't know how much of a pullback we're going to get in the dollar. I think the Fed is going to be raising rates, and like I'd mentioned before the news and during the earlier analysis, this is the what had happened yesterday really is a game changer for the dollar, because what had happened yesterday was really what people expected to happen during the after the Fed meeting. They expected Fed to hike, dollar would get crushed, and that trade got taken off the table yesterday. In my opinion, that was such a game changer for the market. Now I am now actively going to be looking to buy the dollar on a pullback, and especially if the Fed raises rates and the dollar pulls back, I am buying after that, because like I said, I think that trade is now out the window. And the dollar's performing well. I mean, that was a good number. Let me take a real good look at things. So we had, let's see, average hourly earnings came in line. We created 211,000 jobs. It wasn't a blowout number. It was still a decent number. Unemployment rate at 5%. I mean, nothing really is disrupting the Fed. So the Fed looks like they will probably raise rates. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop them. That's why I do want to be a buyer of the dollar on pullbacks if we get it. You see
I
anything
think you're
out there, Paul?
right. Yeah, it's basic. I think it's that simple in the sense that if you look at this that's why I wanted to not really trade today. If you look at this in context, and you just said it perfectly, nothing's changed. The Fed's going to raise. So how is the hell is the euro going to ascend another leg up from those highs? I just don't see it. And
No,
so when
it's
people step back and say, like you just said, well, the Fed's going to be hiking, nothing's changed. I think that the euro can bounce around here in between this 870 on up to maybe towards as highs of 950, but I think ultimately it's going to like run out of gas and it's just going to roll over.
and you know what, Paul? My analysis yesterday during the Lunch Money webinar is probably correct. And this dotted line that I have here, if you guys don't remember this conversation, I'll probably have to put that in at some point. I expect the dollar or the euro to bounce around from 108 to or 109 to 106 before the Fed meeting. um, over the course of the next couple of weeks. I think that that's pretty much in play. I think the euro dollar, but I think that the numbers might be off. I mean, it might be more like 110 to 107, but I think we're going to be bouncing around a little bit here. And don't get caught getting too aggressive. One direction or the other for the next couple of weeks, and but I think overall this was you know a situation where you've got the Fed or the dollar that got the positioning got really squared away because of yesterday. We're going to see a lot less dollar bulls in the market, which then opens the door for more of a dollar rally in the future. I mean, because if there's less dollars, less traders or less positions long the dollar right now, when the Fed starts raising rates, that could reignite the dollar bulls. So just keep that up.
I'm
Keep that in
coming in
mind.
on Monday. I'm coming in on Monday, and I'm looking to short the euro. And your key levels above are going to be 926 and the 973, and that's where to do business. So I'm coming in on Monday, and I'm selling the euro.
And
Not like
speaking of which,
but I'm
yeah,
short.
I hate to interrupt, Paul, but for those of you that don't know, I will be out on Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. Paul Franco will be covering for me, so make sure you're here Monday morning. Not only for the European crossover, which starts at 6 a.m. Eastern, but he'll be on from 6 all the way till 9 a.m. Eastern. So thank you very much, Paul, for covering, and I'm sure everybody's going to be excited to, get get your scalping skills over the course of those 3 hours on Monday. So
Yeah, I think that that's going to be the game to play. I think that the euro. I don't think it's going to fall completely apart, but I think you can make a nice chunk of change for 35 and 40 pips starting on Monday, and you just keep taking it, and then all of a sudden one of these days, whether it's Thursday or Friday or whatever, we're just going to extend that leg lower, and then all of a sudden the tone or the theme of the market will be the Fed's raising. Did you realize that? Yeah, and then all of a sudden you'll see the euro heading back down the chimney pole like Santa, going into the FOMC.
and if you guys are asking questions because I'm out, does that mean that we're going to crash on Monday? There's always a high possibility of that. Whenever I have a scheduled time away from the market, usually creates a lot of volatility. That's been as scary as it is for people that's been listening in for 13 years or 10 years or 8 years. You all know whenever I have a scheduled holiday, things tend to go a little crazy. So I won't be here, and maybe I threw the market off by um, last minute, taking up these plans, but you guys just be careful on Monday. Well, hey Paul, thanks for covering for non-farm payroll. I
Okay,
really
sure.
appreciate you, and we'll see you a little bit later in the chat rooms.
Okay. The one thing I would just say is to tell people is that you have to think about what is going to be the catalyst to go on and move the euro the next leg up higher. And frankly, I don't see it. And we've already rallied pretty hard from those lows. So even technically, they would have to go lower before they could even try and move higher. So I'm going to be shorting the euro coming in on Monday at key levels. And I'll see you all next week.
Cool. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. All right, traders. This is Blake Morrow. I'm still with you, and Paul will be covering for me on Monday. I really appreciate it. I had a trip planned for the last several weeks, and I didn't confirm I was going to take the trip until yesterday, just to make sure my wife is taken care of. And but she said go ahead and go, and I've got a lot of stuff handled there, so which is great. So I'm going to the Vikings game actually on Sunday in Minnesota. Yes, it's going to be cold, and yes, I'm from Arizona, and yes, um, yes, I'll be freezing. So yes, I'm from Arizona. Anyway, so anyway, yeah, Vikings are doing pretty well this year. For those of you that follow American football.